Good evening everyone and welcome along to PSGL. We are here from the PST as of course it is Season 30 F3 Round 11 of the Championship as we take in the Mexican Grand Prix from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you to the stream as always for F3 on a Monday night. Normally, Otaku Logan will be joining me in the commentary box. Normally, if that's the case, Storm would be joining me in the commentary box. Both of them, however, are not here tonight. So you've only got me for tonight, which I guess is not too bad, unless you want to see the dulcet tones of a northeast England man. Then you've come pretty much to the right place, of course, here for F3 tonight. Slides are already in the comment section saying Marlon for the win. Marlon, of course, has been up there. He's in the top 10, of course, in the standings coming into tonight. So running through the standings, actually, Meteor, of course, promoted along with Cameron Dowd. If you're very unfamiliar with what's been happening here in F3, both of them promoted to F2. That now means technically Rudy is the leader, and of course he took that brilliant win in Brazil last time. Quite a dominant win from Lights to Flag, and of course actually in second that day was Cortez. Best result of the season from Cortez, finishing in second, and Marlon of course did finish third last week if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, just getting that right. But Rudy, Cortez, Marlon, your top three last week. What did that do to the championship? Well, Meteor, of course, still leads the championship. Even though he's not in this division, he still leads the championship on 79 points. Rudy, however, has got the big possibility of overtaking him for the championship lead, of course, here tonight, the actual championship lead. But in terms of the drivers that we've got, he's got an 11-point advantage, and I'll come on to that in just a second. Rudy on 65 points in second at the minute. Cameron Dowd's in third on 56. Nuth in fourth on 54. That's where the 11-point gap comes from between Rudy and Nuth. Will Murdoch as well, along with Joey, 46 and 44 points respectively. Joey in 5th on 46, Will Murdoch in 6th on 44. Izza in 7th on 40, along with Ron, who's a point behind him on 39 and 8th. Marlon in 9th on 28. Cortez in 10th on 27 points. Looking through the rest of the field, of course, we've got Menno, DV19, Batuxai, Maras and Trinity there, rounding off the top 15. Marcos, Rocket, Denzel, Dutch Missile, Funky Chicken round off the top 20. Lewis, Rexdig, Hyper, Dan, Spring, Ference, Isu have all scored points so far this season. Maledictus, Julian, Krem and Namsco haven't scored points this season. Therefore, they are right down the back of the field. Some of them are reserves, some of them have already left the division. Not sure what happened with my stream then. My stream just went completely off, so apologies if you commented in there, but I'll catch up with that in just a second. And of course, running through the constructors standings as well, before we get into tonight, we are promised 13 drivers, by the way, not the actual 7 that we've already got already, but we'll see if I can get a few invites out to some of the guys that have necessarily not got invites so far tonight. In terms of the constructors battle, Alpine still lead the way, but is extremely close in terms of the battle. Alpine, Will Murdoch and Joey, of course, 90 points leading the way. Julian and Cortez for Mercedes in second on 89 points. And then Ference and Rudy, who arguably could take the constructor standings, they're in third on 83 points. So only 7 points separating the top 3 constructors coming into tonight. Majority of drivers now beginning to join, which is good. Ferrari in 4th, it should be Williams, sorry, on 4th on 74, Red Bull in 5th on 68, then it's Ferrari in 6th on 63, Aston Martin 7th on 55, then McLaren in 8th on 51, Alfa Romeo on 9th on 30, and AlphaTauri in 10th on 24 points. All constructors have scored points so far this season, which is also very good indeed. But we'll add on top, Alpine add on top, Mercedes second, Haas in third if you are just tuning in and running through the constructors standings there. It is reached now 7 o'clock. Good evening, by the way. It is Easter Monday, by the way, and happy Easter to you all, of course, here from the PSGL family. And of course, here in Brazil, here in Mexico, Brazil, of course, last week. Mexico is probably maybe going to be one of the races of the season if we get some really good driving, of course, out on the track tonight. 4.3 kilometres and then 2.6 miles, 17 turns, of course, awaiting our drivers out on track. 3D rest zones, you're probably familiar with them by now, but if you're not, one down and start finish straight, one down in towards turn 4, and then one down in towards turn 12 into the Ferrosol section. The Ferrosol, of course, being former baseball stadium that used to play host to a lot of South American and North American games, of course, in terms of the baseball, the MLB, that of course used to be hosted around here as well. We are guaranteed drivers, by the way. We're guaranteed at least 12 or 13. Hopefully some of them have not gone AWOL before the start of the actual actual race. I'm going to tune into the Discord and see if there's anything being said in terms of the actual action. Dutch Missile as well, we're having a little conversation just before I came live. He's looking forward to watching the race back with your commentary, and good luck to you too. I think I'll need it tonight, I've got to be honest. I think I'll need it tonight. But hopefully, we are going to get drivers in. Just checking on the general chat. A few drivers have not got invites. Joey apparently might not be able to race, it looks like. His PS is not letting him join, and he is getting an online services error, which is very interesting indeed. Not sure if that might be related to system software that might need updating or something like that. Just throwing it out there, because there was, of course, a system software update last week on, I think it was Wednesday evening. Oh, he's managed to join the session, which is good. So he's managed to join the session. Only waiting, I think, on one more driver. I think we are pretty much a typer that we are waiting on. So I'm going to throw an invite out, which means I'm going to go blue screen. Doesn't really affect my any co-commentator because nobody's alongside me tonight, of course. So invite Hyper in, and then we should be pretty much good to go, I think. We've only got, as I say, 12 drivers, I think, here tonight. But Hyper has now got an invite from me, so hopefully he'll be able to join up very soon. And also Cortez needs an invite, so I will invite Cortez as well. And see, you may as well put me as lobby host and everything in this division. Judging by Dutch Missile is sending out invites, but I am going to send, of course, invites out to both Cortez and Hyper just so they've got it. Cortez has just joined. He's got another invite. Hyper's just joined. We should be good to go very soon indeed then. So get prepared, because it is F3, of course, here tonight. 36 laps around here, should take around 45 minutes in terms of the race, and of course 18 minutes worth of qualifying. It depends on the actual race and how my voice is by the end of the race. We might have any interviews tonight, which I'm sure you'll be very, very pleased about if that is the case, just because commentating by myself normally takes a lot out of me in terms of my voice. So hopefully that will not be the case, and we'll get some interviews in, of course, at the end of the season, at the end of the session, of course. But 36 laps, of course, waiting out, drivers out on track. Let me know in the comment section, by the way, if you are tuning in and waiting for the streams to go live. By all means, of course, have a look at the other streams that are going to be happening. I know PSGL F2 was just gone live, Just Games and All White, of course, taking to the action for that. There's other divisions, of course, live at the same time that we are. But if you're here just for me, thank you, first and foremost. But if you're not here for me and you're here for another division, I don't mind. Seems like everyone's here for Marlon though, apart from me, which is okay. I'll take that, to be honest. Marlon fans are here, which is good. Monka, Lucas and Slizer all in the comment section. SK there as well. Marlon for the win, easy. Do I disagree or do I agree? I don't know. He has been good in the last couple of weeks. I'll give him that. I'll grant him that. Marlon has been very consistent in the last couple of weeks. Drove really well, of course, in Brazil, picking up another third place this season. It's whether or not he can maintain that consistency. We were talking just after the race last week in Brazil after his interview, and last week he said to me that he was actually favouring coming into site in Mexico. Result out of this, and only being 13 drivers here, you'd like to think he's got a good chance, as well as everyone. He's pretty much got an equal chance, of course, for winning. Plenty of support for the German, of course, of Marlon. We have got another German driver, of course, here tonight, and that is Nuth. Nuth, of course, is technically second in the championship, 11 points behind Rudy, coming into tonight. But hopefully we will get a very, very good race indeed. And hopefully we won't be too far away from actually going. I'm just going to tune into the Discord. Nothing else has been said, so I'm guessing we are now going to say go. Yeah, we are now getting ready up. So 20 seconds remain on the countdown. And looking through the comments again. Keep it clean, by the way, in the chat. I don't want to read out any wrong comments or anything like that in the stream. But hopefully you will enjoy this, I will enjoy this, and everyone can go home happy tonight. If you're not in your home, what are you doing with yourself? Because you should be watching this right from your home with a nice bucket of popcorn, ready for the Mexican Grand Prix at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. And of course, it is 4.3 kilometers. And last time we actually came here, before it got inaugurated in 2015, when Nico Rosberg, of course, took the win there, was 1992. Nigel Mansell took the win around to Mexico, and I believe it was the actual round he wrapped up his championship in 1992, or very close to wrapping up the championship in 1992. But hopefully, we're going to be seeing some really good action, of course, out on track. Mansell, Patrese, Prost have all won around here. And hopefully, as I say, it is going to be a strong race by all, and strong performances by all as well. Just waiting on Rex Dick and Lewis just to ready up. Hopefully, I'm not going to load into the lobby and you're going to load into the lobby at the same time as me and think, my God, it's absolutely teeming down out on track in terms of the rain. But we'll see what is going to be happening. Hopefully it's blue skies and sunshine. It's exactly that. Blue skies and sunshine for qualifying here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. And you can immediately see on the left-hand side of your screen, Lewis looks like he's going for a set of medium compound tyres. He's normally the first out as well in qualifying. And Lewis, of course, going for a set of mediums. He has had his fair share of bad luck this season, has the AlphaTauri man. Hopefully this might be a turning of a corner, and hopefully this might be the turning his making of his season here tonight. Of course, there's 5 rounds to go, including this one here in Mexico, Singapore next week, so hopefully it's going to be really good. But the first drivers are now beginning to leave out on track. Will Murdoch just leaving his pit box there, and it is Marlon, one of the first out on track, along with Jacopo. Jacopo is the first man out on track, and if you're wondering, Jacopo is a brand new driver, of course. He's a reserve, I believe. I'll just check in terms of the announcement. Yeah, he's one of the reserves, of course, tonight. Grosso is another reserve. He is not here tonight, is Grosso, but Jacopo, new reserve. Wondering about him? He is, of course, an SXT driver. I've commented on plenty of times in the PSGL event, not in the PSGL event, the IFR event that I've been doing on Fridays, and also an EML. And Jacopo is a very quick driver. I think he was formerly, if I'm not mistaken, OP. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, if anybody knows. But Jacopo, I believe he was former OP driver, now SXT man, and hopefully he's going to be showing what he's made of course, out on track as a reserve. Please go on board with Marlon. We will throughout the session, I will promise that. Jacopo, though, the first man out on track. Normally, I go first man out on track, and then to anybody else that's on a lap. So Jacopo will go on board with first and take you through the actual lap here in Mexico. Marlon will go on board with his third man out on track. He's coming through the final sector there on the mini-map, so we'll go on board with him as soon as Jacopo was done in terms of his lap. But Jacopo coming through the final corner, on the run to the line, the SXT man coming across the line to start off his lap around this 4.3 kilometre circuit at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, and running down in towards turn number 1. Can reach in excess of 200 mile an hour on the run down in towards turn number 1. That's if you've got a good straight line speed to it. But looks like Jacopo is going for more of a cornering setup already. Coming through turn number 1. Then to the S section of turns 2 and turn 3. A little bit slow through there, if I've got to be honest. Coming through turn number 3, and then on the run up towards turn number 4. Leon's in the comment section. Marlon could get a grandson. You never know. I think, though... no, it's Dutch Missile just coming out the pit lane. I thought he came in back into the pits there. Jacopo, though, purple first sector already. Marlon probably will go quicker in the first sector if he's not invalid. Jacopo coming through my favourite section of the track. Probably your worst favourite section, your worst sections of the track around here in Mexico if you've ever driven around here. Coming through turns 10 and 11, and on the up towards Ferrasol at turn number 12. And to 55.7 through the middle sector from Jacopo. Coming through now turn number 12. And wide slightly, gets negotiated nicely into the Ferrasol, into the baseball stadium section. And then, of course, he's just invalidated coming through turn number 14. So what we will do is go on board with Marlon. He is still valid, 55.6 through the middle sector. And now the German is coming through the final couple of corners. We should see a good lap here from Marlon, as long as he doesn't invalidate. Coming in towards Peraltada now, 16 and 17. Of course, famously where PK and Verne famously collided in Formula E around here. 14.6 for Marlon starts off in terms of the night. Other drivers out on track, I think, as well. Rudy out there, current leader, pretty much in the championship, bar Mexi, of course. Rudy ran the final corner, on the run to the line, and that is already going to take a lot of beating. 14 flat, on a set of soft compound tyres. That is quick. That is quick from Rudy. This is F3 standard. given that, it should be quick. Ferren should be up here as well in terms of qualifying. Coming through the middle sector, and 55.6 through the middle sector, so he's up around Marlon sort of area. See what his first sector was like. He's just invalidated coming through turn number 12. Absolutely typical. Will Murdoch, I believe, has just started on one as well. I'll just flick through and actually see who's furthest on the lap. Copa was invalidated. Hyper not on the lap. Nuth, interestingly, on a set of medium compounder tyres. He is 11 points behind Rudy coming into tonight in terms of the championship fight between these two. Could be quite interesting. These should be first and second, Rudy and Nuth tonight. Nuth is quite strong around here. I've commentated on him in League of Europe before, and he was quite strong in that race and picked up a very good points haul there. Looking through some of the comments as well, Marlon Fan Block is here, totally agree. And looking through as well, Blizzard 53 is in the comment section. Good evening to you, Matthew Alder. Of course, F1 Esports Challengers driver to be, an F1 Pro Exhibition driver, of course. Nuth, however, is in this middle sector, coming through 7, 8, 9, and then to the right-handers of 10, and then to the left-hander of turn 11, which is this one here. And, oh, had a snap of Overseer coming through turn number 11. Still valid. Don't know why it's still valid, to be honest. Look quite messy. I wonder if Nuth's going to come back into the pit lane here. The German coming through in towards Peraltada now at 16 and 17. Rudy out on top, Marlon second, Will Murdoch in third, and Nuth, not surprisingly, given how he butchered that middle sector, he's into the pit lane. Ferrance is on a lap, I believe, coming in towards Peraltada. The Aston Martin coming through the final couple of corners through turn 16 and 17 on the run to line. Should be up there, I think. And he is. He's second, 14.2. Hyper would set a lap time as well, 14.3. Not surprising, though, to see not many drivers set a lap at this point. And actually, multiple drivers who have set a lap, Ferrans, Hyper, Will Murdoch, have set multiple laps in the set of softs. And it's something that you will probably see in higher tiers like F2, like F1 as well. And that's going to be, of course, coming up at 8 PM. Luke Etheridge and Aidan Carter will be taking you through that one, of course. Looking through as well, the Marlon Ultras in the comment section. I like that. I really like that. Rexnig, however, the Polish Kubica, as I've given him his nickname, you can make of that as you will. Rexnig across the line, though, on to his lap. I believe Joey is out there coming to the final sector as well, so we'll see what Joey's going to set in terms of his lap time. Rexnig is on the run down in towards turn 1. 200 mile an hour dead on in towards turn 1. Here's another one that just flicks a little bit of oversteer coming through turn number 1. Through turn number 3, and the car's round. Rexnig round coming through turn number 3. The Red Bull is round, and that is unfortunately not the end of his session. He's still got 11 minutes to go. He can easily get back round. He has to do a very awkward J-turn, though, with two drivers coming past him. He needs to get a move on, otherwise he'll be disqualified from the session, and he does just do that. So he's out there. Joey is coming to the final sector, and actually he's coming into the pit lane because he's invalidated on his lap. Is Ferrans back out on a lap? No, he's coming back in. So, apart from Rexnig, obviously with that spin, who's next on a lap? I think it's Lewis. Lewis Curtis, of course. Give him his full name. He's now on a set of soft compounder tyre, barring the graphics on the left-hand side, which are obviously wrong because of the game. Joey came obviously back into the pit lane, but Lewis is about to start on a lap, and we'll ride back on board with him. Of course, here, as I say, he's had his fair share of bad luck here so far this season in F3, but what can the AlphaTauri man do here tonight? Rudy out on top, Ferrans second, Hyper in third. If you're just tuning in to the race and to this qualifying session, of course, here in F3, pretty much Rudy's lap could be quite hard to beat. 2 tenths clear of Ferrans. Hyper there third, 14.3 is 3 tenths off him. We see a lap time Rexnig 37.4, not at all a great lap from Rexnig. Obviously, we saw that spin. 28.3 though from Lewis coming through the first sector. Nathan and Ron have just started up on laps as well, along with Cortez, and he's going to be next, I think, on my hit list. Lewis coming through turn number 6, through the double right-hander of turn number 6, and then in towards the SA section, through 7, 8, 9, and as we go along, 10, and then to the left-hander of 11, and I can already tell how, I'm really surprised, actually, he's still valid coming through that, because he was so wide off the curb, 55.7 through the middle sector, and really out on top, but Lewis is not on a lap anymore because he's just invalidated coming out of turn number 12, and that is the big points, I think, around this track. If you've experienced this track before, you'll know what I mean. Basically, that middle sector is so treacherous, so bad. Coming through turn number 12, if you go too far wide, you're hanging off Camber, as Cortez is just invalidated on his lap. He was looking quite quick, actually, Cortez on this lap. Comes around the final corner and immediately comes into the background. I'm not surprised that he has. But yeah, finishing off my point there, turn 12, if you get flung off the curb, basically, you're pretty much going to end up invalidating your lap. Nuth is sideways coming through the Ferrosol section, the German coming through the final corner on the run to the line, and he goes second, 14.2, so he's around a tenth and a half off Rudy at this stage. Nuth there in second, Farron's there in third. Leon saying such a great commentary from you, even in qualifying. Thank you very much, I really appreciate that, honestly. It goes a long, long way, and it's good to see that you're actually enjoying things. Rexvig there is invalidated coming to the SA section of turn number 2 and 3. Marlon, I believe, has just started up on a lap, so we're right on board with the McLaren, 14.6. I'm going to show no bias, by the way, to Marlon here tonight. I will try and ride on board with everyone equally. Marlon coming through turn 2, through turn number 3, and he's got caught on the curb, and again caught on the curb. And I think this is the pressure of actually riding on board with him. He's just messing up slightly coming through turn number 3. 28.1 though through the first sector. He's 7 thousandths up in the first sector. We'll see what the rest of his lap is like. 14.6. Around this track, if you set a lap in, Rudy, by the way, is on a lap. I think he's around the final corner, just the line. Didn't actually improve on that lap. But Marlon, coming through the middle sector, just taking it a little bit too tentatively, coming through this section of the track. And I'm sure you're probably shouting at your screen, Marlon fans, saying, come on, get a move on. Marlon coming through the middle sector. He has got a move on, actually, to be fair. 3.5 tenths up in the middle sector. So, looks deceiving, I think, in this lap. Coming through now, the Ferrosol, turn number 14 and 15. Hits the curb nicely, and now in toward Peraltada at 16 and 17. Rudy Allen top, Nuth in second, Ferrens in third. Marlon though to the line, goes fourth. Not a bad lap actually. Still, bit of improvement to find I think on that lap. But the Marlon 14.2 in the middle, in the final sector there, 14.2, and he goes fourth. Hyper there on a lap as well. Jacopo, I've been told to go on board with. He's invalidated at the minute, unfortunately. Joachim in the comment section. Jacopo is invalidated, and it just comes to show how difficult it is around this track. Plenty of invalidations. These are Formula 1 drivers being tested to their exact limit here tonight. Rudy, however, is on a lap, and he's a tenth and a half up coming through the Peraltada section through 16 and 17. And we'll see what Rudy can do. Round the final corner, on the run to the line, and that's going to take a lot of beating still. 13.9, lost a lot of time though in that final sector compared to where he was in the middle sector. 13.9. Ferrens could be there to take the pole position, but he's invalidating on this lap. So Ferrens either this or next lap invalidated, or picked up an invalidation as we were on board with him there. Marlon's invalid. Hyper on a lap. We'll see what the Ferrari man can do. He's 500 up coming through the middle sector. Was full-time Ferrari driver now here in PSGL F3, and Hyper is the only Ferrari, of course, here tonight. Joachim is saying, but what's your cope about? He almost won WR around here. That's a nice one. That is a nice comment to be made, obviously, to Jacopo. Hyper does improve. He's back into the breakdown at the minute, Jacopo. Watch out for him in the race, because if that is the case, and he's won around here in WR, might be one to watch out for, of course, in the actual race. Rudy out on top, though, Nuth in second, Ferrens in third. 6 minutes to go in qualifying, just underneath. Will Murdoch coming around the final corner on the run to the line. He goes sixth ahead of his teammate, Joey. Joey, of course, had qualified Will last week in Brazil. Cortez, man who finished in second last week in Brazil, is a second up coming through the middle sector, and he has an outside chance for pole position here. If he can improve in this final sector and find 3 tenths, he's going to be on pole, a provisional pole ahead of Rudy. Round the final corner, see what the Mercedes man can do. Round the final corner on the run to the line, and he just about goes quickest, 13.8, and he found 5 tenths of a second in that final sector. And the Shazoo man, formerly of QVR of course, now an academy driver for Shazoo, Cortez out on top. And since Matthew and since Cameron Dowd left of course a few weeks ago, we've really seen Cortez come alive I think in F3. He obviously finished second as I say last week. Up until that point though, he was not really anywhere to be seen in the top 10 in the race. And Cortez came in with a really good lap there, 13.8. Rudy's time, if he can improve in that final sector, Rudy, he should set a mid-113. Probably around a mid-113. If he can really sort that final sector out and really hook up that lap, Rudy could be the one to watch out for pole position. Lucas saying in the comment section, what do you think the race will be, a 1-stop or a 2-stop? It depends really on the amount of safety cars that we see around this track. For me personally, normally a one-stop strategy is better than a two-stop, because you're obviously taking away the time of that second pit stop. So for me, one stop I think will be the case. But ignore me, ignore the commentator, just watch these guys out on track. These will probably be the guys to watch out for. Don't trust me, former driver, know nothing about tyre strategies at all, just ignore what I'm saying. Rexnig just coming onto a lap, 15.4 for the Polish Kubica at the minute, and he's now starting up on his potential final run. Ron, coming out the pit lane there, could have easily given him a little bit of cheeky slipstream running down the straight. And that's what we haven't seen so far tonight. Drivers giving each other a little bit of slipstream. I think it's banned, of course, here in PSGL. But in other leagues I've commentated on around here, Rexig's run so far wide coming out of turn number 3. How is that valid? How is that valid coming out of turn number 3? Surely he has to back off that. He's a tenth and a half up in the first sector. And if he improves on this lap, Marlon gets out the way. If Rexig improves on this lap, you all saw that. That's all I'm saying. Rexnig coming through the middle sector. We'll see what the pole can do. Coming through turn 7. That was nice coming through turn 7, actually. Gets caught on the curb through turn 9. Hooks it up for 10 and 11. Nice. Needs to back off this lap, though. Rexnig around the middle sector. He's only 2 tenths up. I mean, to be honest, he's not going to... It's not as if he's going to go pole position on this lap, is he? Rexnig coming through the middle sector. And now through the final sector of the Ferrosol. Coming in towards Paraltada now at 16 and 17. Still Cortez had on top, Rudy second, Newton third, Rexig to the line. Did improve by 0.3 of a second, and all those warnings about him not improving on his lap time clearly were not heeded by the pole. Other drivers out on lap. Jacopo's really struggling in qualifying. He's got the Williams, he's got the Aston Martin of Ferrans just ahead of him. I think Ferrans is actually on a lap, if I'm not mistaken. No, he's backed off. Rudy is on one, but he's only through the first couple of corners. But Jacopo has really been struggling in qualifying so far. Down in 13th. If he won WR around here, he's got to think about getting a little bit of a miracle time in and possibly towards the top end of the field. We'll see, though, how that is going to come to fruition. Dutch Missile is up, 55.6 in the middle sector, 10th up on his current lap time. Could go ahead of Joey, maybe ahead of the likes of Will Murdoch and Hyper here as well. Again, another one that's hooking up the final sector nicely. Only a 17-second final sector around here as well. Dutch Missile to the line, goes 8th ahead of Joey, so exactly where I thought he might have went. Hyper, oh, Marlon has spun. Marlon has spun, just coming through there, through turn number 11, that is. Reversed backwards. Hopefully he can get the car recovered. He needs to think about doing a J-turn, and he does think about doing that J-turn, and actually spears across track with nobody in sight, which is good to see. Ferrans was up on his lap. Rudy has just came off one, and actually did improve, but he didn't go quickest. Rudy second, didn't go quickest. Marlon, though, around there. Nuth is the only one, really, that can now take the fight to Rudy. He's a 10th down, 100th down through the first sector. Ferrans is on a lap coming through the middle sector. Well, now run a ball coming through the middle sector with the Aston Martin. And Ferrans, 55.1. This could now land him. If he gets up a good final sector here, Ferrans could be on pole position here, and I'm not going to lie about that at all. Ferrans around the final couple of corners, taking Ferrosol brilliantly. Coming through Paraltada, the Aston Martin, the Dutchman, round the final corner, on the run to the line, and he just goes shy. Third position, Joey has been disqualified for being parked in a dangerous location. That's coming through the middle of the Ferrosol section, so that is him now out. Really, I don't think it's going to get another lap in. Cortez is on one. See what the Portuguese man can do. I think Marlon, oh, and Cortez snaps the back end, coming through 8 and 9. And the Mercedes is round, so he's not going to be improving either. Is that the end of qualifying, maybe? Let's see if anybody else will put him. Will Murdoch's not on a lap. Marlon not on a lap. Hyper is. And he's the only one out there. Hyper is the only one that can now go pole position. Nobody's going to get another lap time set in. Hyper is the only man that can do, but he's through the middle sector and he's nearly snapping the car again. And through the middle sector, he's 500 down. This is not going to be, unless he finds a hack coming through the final sector. He's not going to go pole position here. It is Cortez then. I'll be confident in saying I think it's Cortez on top, Rudy second, Ferrans third in qualifying. Jacopo had no time, jinxed by Joachim there in the comment section. Hyper did lose more time in the final sector as well, goes 7th. Dutch Missile was on a lap, he's 2 tenths down though. Marlon not on a lap. I think that is everyone done. let's see. Yeah, everyone is done now in qualifying. Cortez out on top, Rudy in second, Ferenc in third. And to be honest, top 3 are covered by 600ths of a second. Just let that sink in for a little bit. 600ths of a second, covering the top 3. Potentially, I think, I would say on record, maybe one of the closest qualifying sessions we've had all season in F3. Cortez out on top, Rudy in second, Ferenc in third. Ah, Joachim, that's Yogurt. Yogurt in the comment section. Good evening to you, Yogurt. Leon saying 6th was okay for Marlon. Yeah, 14.2. Didn't get that final lap in. Could have potentially improved ahead of Nuth, I would think. Maybe best starting position would have been 4th, but who knows. Cortez out on top though, Rudy in second, Ferenc in third. In FRT, it's close, says Fusion. Or it's close, I think that's meant to say. Leon saying the top 3 was on another level, yeah. But, as Slizer has said, the race counts. Qualifying is done. 1 lap pace is now out the window. It is 36 lap pace now. It is who's got the best strategy. Looking at the drivers struggling in qualifying, I get a hint that we could see a little bit of rain in the race. I'm not sure if we've got that in the comment in the Discord. Joey was saying, in terms of Joey and his qualifying, we'll run through the grid order and then I'll come into Joey's point in the Discord. Cortez though out on top, Rudy in second, Ferenc in third, so Portuguese leading Dutch. Nuth in fourth, supporting the Ukrainian flag, which I'm sure we all support here in PSGL, and all support to everyone that is tuning in. Will Murdoch there in 5th, Marlon in 6th, Hyper in 7th, Dutch Missile there in 8th, Ron in 9th, Rexdig in 10th. Lewis didn't get a lap time in, neither did Jacopo and Joey, and they start right at the back of the field. Considering Joey out-qualified Will Murdoch, and Will Murdoch's in 5th, these guys could potentially be up there in terms of their lap times if they got one in. But Cortez out on top, Rudy in second, Ferenc in third. Just coming on to what Joey was saying, he broke us when disqualified him for waiting for people to pass. Now, I know in the race, if you go off track there and you wait for drivers to go around, you pick up a 10-second penalty. So that is why the game has obviously basically indicated that. Basically said, yeah, I'm going to disqualify it. Such a shame. Blue skies and sunshine though, so my theory of rain is not to fruition at all, at the start of the race at least. Never know if we get rain during the race. Joey as well saying he had 8 people driving past and he couldn't move in Sector 3, which I think is totally fair to be honest. And he rolled 3 times to stop the counter, is what he said. But obviously, the game, I think, is coming back to bite him there on the backside, I think is best probably thing to say. Enzo, though, in the comment section saying, good evening to me. It is Enzo, what up? I'm doing very well. How are you, Enzo? And how are you all, actually, in the comment section? Let me know who your prediction is. Not guessing how many drivers are going to... how many people in the comment section are going to say Marlon, because I know you're all going to say Marlon for the win. But, who is your top 3? Looking at the strategies, though, top 10, of course, qualified on that set of soft compounded tyres. Lewis, Jacopo, Joey... They've got a big advantage because obviously they're outside of the top 10 and they're still all on a set of medium compounded tyres. Now, for me, set of soft compounded tyres, if you're like Rexdig and he's saying he's starting on 20% worn set of soft compounded tyres, you're going to be struggling through the first half of the race. I would say drivers are going to be pitting in around lap 8, lap 9. No question about it. We'll start to see the first pit stops from around lap 8, lap 9, maybe a little bit on that, maybe towards lap 12. That'll be the first round of pit stops. If that's going to be a 2-stop strategy and they go softs then mediums or something like that. But if it is going to be the case where mediums are going to be quicker after lap 8 and lap 9, which they will be, and Lewis, Jacopo, Joey, if they're in a DRS train, they can easily just latch onto the back, break the field apart basically, and try and get that overcut strategy later on. And in terms of the mediums, I'm coming on to the mediums. Mediums around here, normally you'd be putting in just after the halfway stage, around lap 19, lap 20. I've seen drivers get 18 lap mediums around here before, so that is the case, and it all depends really on who really is best out on track and who manages their tyres better than everyone else. And I think for the likes of Cortez, the likes of Rudy, and I know Ferenc is very good in terms of his tyres as well, top 3 I think will have that advantage. Nuth is normally quite good in terms of his tyres. But it all depends really on how the drivers actually cope with the racing out on track. Slides are going... Oh, Leon, interestingly, going Ference, Marlon, Rudy. Monica is supporting Rexdig. Good to see you here. Slides are saying Marlon, who would have thought it? Rudy and Ference. Rudy for the win, says DB19. And that is Slides' top 3 saying... Lucas saying as well, I've not seen much about the last races, but what I've seen, that is Marlon was in the race every time. Yeah, he's been doing quite well the last couple of weeks. Drivers now are on the grid. We better get going for 36 laps. Hopefully my voice is going to last that way as well. DB19 saying Rudy, Nuth and Marlon. Now we're about to get underway. The 5 red lights are going out here for round 11 of the championship. It is the Mexican Grand Prix, and it is... eventually... lights out, away we go. Cortez gets a very good start. Rudy alongside him. And now Ference and Nuth are going to try and get the toe. And it looked like Nuth actually got the better start at the top 4. So Cortez leads the way in towards turn number 1. The Mercedes, though, having to weave desperately to try and break that toe from Rudy. Rudy's going to launch it, though, down the inside in towards turn number 1. And that's so late on the brakes. He gets the move done. Beautiful move by Rudy. Ference and Nuth going side by side through the SA section at turns 2 and 3. Will Murdoch, Hyper, Marlon all involved. Marlon's lost a position off the start. Everyone clean through, though. Rudy leads the way. Cortez is fighting back in towards turn number 4, and the Mercedes now lunges it down the inside line of the Haas, and that is Cortez fighting back. A little bit of front wing damage maybe there from Ference. There was a slight tap there. Ferrari running out wide was Hyper and Marlon, who's retaken position for 6th down the inside of turn number 6. He's now through and he's into 6th. Dutch Missile as well, fighting with Ron side by side into the S section. You don't want to be doing this. And Ron and Dutch Missile side by side. This is going to be the real cork in the bottle, I think, in terms of the DRS train as well. Dutch Missile still hanging around. To be fair, didn't back out of that. Really good respect between them both there. Ron and 8, Dutch Missile on 9th. There's Joey in 10th. Jacopo was on the back side by side with Lewis in toward the Ferrasol. Through turn 11. Or through turn 12 even. And now around the outside and towards turn 14. Into the Ferrasol we go. Jacopo on the inside on the Italian, battling back. And look at Rexdig. Rexdig dives it down the inside line. A little bit reckless. Nearly puts Lewis in the wall. I think Lewis has got front wing damage. I think he's lost his front wing entirely. Jacopo, though, will not be happy with that. And Rexdig, to be fair, has led him through. Really good sportsmanship there. And at the end of lap 1, in the end, the crazy lap 1, Lewis has got back going again, which is good to see. I think he hasn't incurred any damage, which is good. It is Cortez that leads the way. Rudy in 2nd, Ference in 3rd. What about that first lap between Cortez and Rudy? Rudy got the move done in towards turn 1. He was so far on the brakes, I thought he was going to do Verstappen in 2021, where obviously he went over the grass, had to cut across the grass, and Rudy there nearly got the same. And then Cortez came fighting back. It's almost as if we saw Leclerc, Verstappen, Australia all over again, pretty much. Cortez leads the way, Rudy there in 2nd, Ference in 3rd, none settling down. Everyone has got through the first lap safely, which is very good. But Cortez, though, got a really good start there, the Portuguese man. Leads the way, exactly what he wanted off the start. Rudy there in 2nd, there's Ference in 3rd. Will Murdoch looking quite quick as well. Position gains, by the way, at the end of lap 1. Joey has gained 3 positions after his disqualification. Jacopo has gained 1 along with Ron. 2 positions lost for Rexdig and Lewis, and 1 position lost for Dutch Missile. If you're the top 7, though, you have not changed a single position, which is good. And we're already through the end of lap 2, and that will mean DRS will be enabled this lap around, and of course, not be enabled until we get towards turn number 12 into the Ferrasol. But Ference might not need that. He's on the back as Joey has came into the pit lane. So Joey is in, Lewis is in as well. So both of them might have picked up a little bit of damage. Ference was looking quite close on the back of Rudy in towards turn number 1. I think everyone is probably just entitled to maybe run in the same DRS train. Rudy had a bit of a mistake, I think, coming out turn number 2 now. DRS, of course, not enabled because the Sector 3 detection point is the same for both the start finish straight and then towards turn number 4. There's 2 different DRS detection points around here. SK as well saying Torpedo. Yeah, bit like that from Rexdig, I think that might have been on lap 1. Lewis as well is commenting in the Discord, so I'll try and bring you up to date with what Lewis is saying. Probably about that 3 wide scenario in towards turn number 12. Yeah, Jacopo. I mean, Rexdig was on the inside there, Lewis, to be fair, and probably you'll realise that when you watch the stream back later on. Cortez leads the way, Rudy in 2nd, Ference there in 3rd, Nuth there in 4th. Will Murdoch, Marlon, Hyper, Ron, Dutch Missile, Jacopo top 10, Rexdig 11th, Joey and Lewis 12th and 13th at this stage. We get on to lap number 4. I'm going to have to take a drink because my voice is already going. Oh, that's better. Ference on the back of Rudy. Trying to run down on the run in towards turn number 1. But again, really gets close to the back of Cortez. Doesn't want to go for the move. I think he just wants to try and entice Cortez into maybe having a fight in towards turn number 3. But not going to be the case. Will Murdoch, though, on the back of Nuth might. He's got the DRS enabled. Is he going to pull to the inside line? No, he fakes the move. And Nuth actually gets sent straight on. Will Murdoch to the outside line. Oh, shuts the door on Nuth. And that is uncanny from Will Murdoch. Nuth remains in 5th, just about. And that has just caused the DRS train now to explode into life in behind. But Will Murdoch there in 4th. Potentially, that might be it might be classed as a racing incident, but he gave him no room there at all, did Murdoch. And obviously he was the car ahead. To be fair, he was the car ahead, and he could have easily closed off the gap, but you've got to check your wing mirrors. Simple as that. Check your wing mirrors, and you won't be enter an incident. Rexdig has had a moment coming out of turn number 11. He's got the car back going again. There was a slight yellow flag through that part. Cortez though leading the way. Rudy in 2nd, Ferrant in 3rd. Lap 5 out of 36 we go. Marlon's still in 6th at the minute. He could though get 5th in a second because Nuth is under pressure from Marlon, and this should be a very clean move. Even before turn number 1, Marlon pulls the inside line. Job done, he's through and he's into 5th. So the German through and he's into 5th, but the big concern now is Marlon, has he got the pace to latch onto the back of Will Murdoch, who looks very quick, and now right on the back of Ferrans. We go on board in towards turn number 4, pulls to the inside line. Ferrans gives him no room at all, and maybe says, you know what, you could do one, I could do one better. Ferrans forced out wide, coming through turn number 4, through 5, and Ferrans completely shut the door there. Really solid defensive driving from the Dutchman. The Brit there in 4th. And then look what's happened. Marlon's now back in the DRS train because of that battle, and that's exactly what Marlon would want. Jacopo, interestingly as well, on that sort of mediums in 10th position, obviously chasing down Dutch Missile for that position, and Jochen and Yogurt saying in the comment section there as well, saying Jacopo on those medium, yeah, he's made up good ground, but I think it's because of everyone else's incidents around him. Joey, I think, possibly hit the wall somewhere out on track. That's why he came into the pit lane. Lewis obviously came into the pit lane because of damage in that 3 wide incident into Peraltada, and Jacopo is being a beneficiary of this, and I think it's more luck than anything. I'm not trying to berate him at all. Jacopo there, though, could get 9th very easily here, because Dutch Missile is under pressure. The Williams on the back, the Italian on the back of the Dutchman, should be quite easy. Gets the DRS on very, very late indeed, and the ERS now running out, but who needs ERS when Jacopo to the inside line, in towards turn number 1, gets the job done. So Jacopo through and he's into 9th. And again, the problem with Jacopo is, has he got the pace? It'll be later on in the race where those tyres come on, but has he got the pace now to try and get onto the back of Ron, Hyper, Nuth, who are ahead of him? That is going to be the big thing out on track. Cortez leading the way, Rudy in 2nd, Ferrant in 3rd. Apart from those little overtakes that we had, nothing's really happened, to be honest, in this race, apart from that, as I say, 3 wide scenario, and Will Murdoch chopping up Nuth at the bit. Ferrant though looking a lot quicker through the middle sector there compared to Rudy. You saw that from the helicopter cam. That's the mark. Oh, that was a voice crack and a half. Ferrant on the back of Rudy in 3rd position, and he saw there coming through on with the helicopter cam. Ferrant's there was so much quicker coming through the S section. He has got that setup absolutely nailed on. Rudy in 2nd necessarily hasn't. He's there in 2nd, and he's chasing down, you could argue, a shadow in front of him, because Cortez is quite quick. The Portuguese man is quick around here. And he leads the way once again onto lap 7. We should see pit stops come around about probably 2-3 laps time, I would think. Rudy on the back of him again, not quite close enough. We'll see what Will Murdoch can do. He was a lot quicker than Ferrant at this part of the track last time around. This time around, he's nowhere near, so Will Murdoch will stay in 4th. Everyone else in behind following through as well. Jacopo now beginning to get on with things. Clearly better than Dutch Missile's set of soft compounder tyres. Actually had a DRS range, Dutch Missile. So Jacopo's done well to get a lap, but he's losing at around 5-6 tenths a second a lap at this moment in time. That will all come back to bite him, of course, at the end, or obviously when these guys come into the pit lane. It'll come back to bite him then. Oh, Will Murdoch on the back of Ferrant. Again, coming to the S section, you can just tell Ferrant is a lot quicker. He's got that setup completely nailed on in 3rd. And it's almost as if Rudy can't respond in the middle sector. It's only the straights, really, where Rudy is quick. Even through the final sector here, Ferrant is absolutely on it. The Dutchman on the back of his fellow countryman. I think Ferrant might think about coming into pit lane before Rudy and Cortez does, because if he does that, he gets the undercut, and potentially he'll get the undercut to try and win. But Rudy's now going to go for the race lead. He'll pull to the outside line and should get the move done quite easily, and he does get the move done quite easily. So Rudy through and he's into the lead of the race. Cortez nearly goes into the back of him in towards turn number 1, brings Ference and Will Murdoch right into play. Lewis has picked up the first 3-second penalty of the night, and now Cortez, like we saw with lap 1, is going to try and fight back. We can tell with the EOS trying to save it up, and Rudy pulls away from him. No point fighting a quicker car ahead of you. And Cortez there now back into second. So we might see what we saw on lap 1 between them both. Rudy and Cortez having a really intense fight on lap 1. And Rudy through this middle sector is not liking this at all. This middle sector is his weak point completely. The whole entirety. Look at Cortez's speed coming through the middle sector, especially through 10 and 11 there. He catches up. He's got the DRS. And he's going to be closing very quick on the back in towards the Ferrosol. But now, all of this does, potentially we could see a 3-wide scenario begin to develop, and Cortez has gone into the back of Rudy. Very lucky not to pick up any damage there. The Mercedes, it's all beginning to get Constantine up. Rudy's trying to hold them up. Is Rudy going to come into the pit lane? No, he stays out. Rudy leads the way. Cortez in second, but now is going to open a whole kettle of fish in behind because Ference and Will Murdoch are going to hunt them down. Rudy perhaps could lose 1, 2, maybe 3 positions. And look at Will Murdoch. Cortez pulls the inside line of Rudy for the race lead. Will Murdoch will get third at least. Pulls the outside line, gets the job done on Ference, and he's Thurney's into third. So we saw 2 moves there. Cortez Thurney's into the lead, and Will Murdoch Thurney's into third, and perhaps he could get second. He's on the back of Rudy. He's got so much more EOS than these guys ahead of him as well. And the Brit is looking confident at the quarterway stage here in Mexico. Cortez though leading the way. Leon saying Marlon's on fire at the minute. Yeah, he's in 5th. I think he got the move done on Nuth as well, if I'm not mistaken. So Marlon through and he's into 5th. Nuth there in 6th, Hyper 7th, 1 and 8. They're all on a DRS train, the top 8, and they're all pulling away still from Jacopo, even though Jacopo's tyres are now on the same level as those softs in front of him. So we'll begin to see, as instructed coming through the middle sector, Jacopo beginning to catch up on the back of the soft runner train. All of these guys get battling. Jacopo's going to be on the back in no time. Cortez leads the way. 0.5 of a second coming through the Peraltada section. In through the final corner. And we'll see now if anybody's going to decide to come in the pits. Oh, I thought Ference was. He took the thin line again coming through the final corner. Like he did last time around. I thought he was going to come in the pit down there, but the Dutchman stays in 4th for now. Cortez getting hunted down by Rudy. Here comes Rudy. The Dutchman has to pull to the inside line, surely. He's closing too quick to the inside line. Job done by Rudy. Cortez trying to fight it back though. Coming to the SA section. Through 2, through 3. Will Murdoch on the back. Seeks blood as well in front. And now Cortez is going to try and get Rudy. But Rudy once again pulls away because of the DRS. Will Murdoch's going to come steaming possibly at Cortez. But he doesn't get the move done, and Rudy holds on to the lead of the race. Cortez in second, Will Murdoch in third, lap 10 out of 36. If you are just tuning in to F3 tonight, it is myself, James Head, taking you through the stream as always. And of course, the league is sponsored by Grid Rival, and I'm sure all of that can be found in the description section below. If not, it'll be found on the F1 or F2 streams. If you tune in for that, the affiliate link for Grid Rival. If you haven't joined, you can join, of course, because it's Imola and the Sprint weekend coming up this week in real life. Rudy leads the way. Cortez in second, Will Murdoch in third, and everyone just running a big old DRS train at this point. Jacopo, though, is sort of hovering around the 4.2 second point. It goes out to around 4.5 and then comes back to 4 seconds now. And Rudy is so slow coming out the final corner. This is Cortez's chance. He hunts blood in front of him. Will Murdoch, though, is probably going to be the quicker out to 3 if he gets the EOS on. He's got 70% of EOS. Cortez, though, says to Rudy, you know what, I've got speed. Has he got enough speed to get the move done, though? Cortez into the lead of the race. Rudy backs off into turn 1. Look at Will Murdoch in behind. He just looks so confident, I think, at this point, the Brit. Ference in behind as well. It's flying. On the back of Will Murdoch. Gets the EOS on, and look at the closing speed here. Ference possibly going to lunge a move on Will Murdoch. And doesn't think about it, and to be fair, that was the right decision because he was coming so far on the back of him. Will Murdoch, though, trying to get the switch back out of turn number 5 into the double right of turn 6. Doesn't get the move done there. Cortez leading the way. Beautiful helicopter cam now coming on board. We're right on board with Will Murdoch coming through. Everyone is looking great. I've got to agree, Leon, at this point. It's a really good battle for first. And keeping me on my toes, certainly, in the commentary box. But certainly keeping these drivers on their toes, because one mistake That is it. One mistake, you could be out of the DRS train, you could be out of the race entirely. These guys have got to think about coming into pit lane though. We should see the first pit stops begin to come around now. On to lap 12, we should see the pit stops here, and Cortez is exactly going to do that, as I say. So Cortez into the pit lane from the race lead. Ferrand is also in. Marlon is also into pit lane as well. So those three are into the pit lane, all going to go for a set of medium compounded tyres. Will Murdoch, though, is trying to hunt down Rudy in towards turn number 1. And I don't think the Alpine is going to be close enough to the back of the house. Of course, Alpine have got to think about getting the constructors standings. Marlon, by the way, jumped ahead of Ferrand coming out the pit lane. That's an interesting one. Answers on the postcard for that one. Marlon's ahead of Ferrand coming out the pit lane. Not sure what happened there. Not sure if he got held up, Ferrand coming into the pits. But Marlon is ahead of Ferrand coming out the pit lane. Interesting one. Didn't think that would happen on a month full of Sundays. Marlon 8th, Ferrand 9th. Will Murdoch, though, on the back of Rudy for the race lead. Surely these guys are going to respond now, because Cortez is into the pit lane. In clearer, you're going to be gaining around 5-6 tenths per second per lap initially. And then it's going to be more like a second when these tyres start to go off. Will Murdoch had a look there in towards turn number 12. Didn't get the move done. Undercut from those three, yeah, possibly. Cortez, Marlon and Ferrand don't want to be in a DRS train. It's all going to begin to split up, I think, because they've all came into the pit lane. We should see, though, the response now. Not on this lap, though. Will Murdoch on the back of Rudy. He just looks easily the best driver. Cortez, by the way, is gaining 5 tenths per second on your Copo, which, if you double that, he's probably gained around 8 tenths per second on the front runners. So, Cortez, 12.4 seconds the gap. Ron on the back of Hyper looking quite close. The SXT man and the FRL man going to go at it. 4th and 5th position. Estonian on the back of the Dutchman, of course, the SXT driver. But I think Hyper's going to hold on to position for now. Cortez, though, there is Cortez. He's in clear air. The only big advantage that is going to help these guys ahead on the softs, DRS train. Will Murdoch's leading that DRS train. He's got 90% of ERS. And if I was a betting man, Cortez will be around 2 seconds ahead coming out the pit lane compared to these guys. Because Will's not burning up enough ERS to actually bridge any sort of gap, and he's just picked up a 3-second penalty as soon as I say that. So Will Murdoch, now with a 3-second penalty on, he's there in the lead of the race, but the guys ahead are probably wanting him to go a little bit quicker for them to keep up. That's what Will's doing. He's going to come into pit lane this lap around. Judging by the deployment this lap around, he's going to come into the pits. And he does. So Will Murdoch's into the pit lane from the race lead. Rudy is staying out, interestingly. Rudy's staying out, and Will Murdoch's the only one in. So Will Murdoch only one in, picks up around 18 seconds, so potentially could be quite close. There's a yellow flag in the middle sector. That is Joey, I think, that has spun coming through the middle sector. That is coming through the SA section of 8 and 9. There is Cortez, by the way, going past him. And now Marlon, and now Ferrand. Will Murdoch is behind all three. And he's outside of DRS range as well, coming out the pit lane. That is not good news at all. Ron and Hyper, by the way, side by side. In towards turn number 4, the Estonian gets the job done. He's into 3rd. Hyper struggling with those softs, it seems. Blistering definitely occurring on the front right, we can tell. Ferrand on the back of Marlon, though. The German and the Dutchman. Two very good rivals. Ferrand, Marlon. And Marlon just backs off and says, Ferrand, you know what? Go through. You're the quicker driver. Ferrand's 30s into 7th. Marlon 8th. But that is tactical for Marlon. No other way about it. It's tactical. They haven't got to be too tactical. Will Murdoch is quick behind. He's got a lap pressure tyres, or 2 lap pressure tyres than Marlon and Ferrand. And Will's going to be quicker than them. But he's lost so much time. The guy should have came in lap after Will came in. Or lap after, sorry, Cortez, Ferrand and Marlon all came in. Rudy's now going to respond into the pits. And they all respond coming into pit lane, in fact. So all the soft runners are in. On to lap 15 now. Rudy will lead the way, but it's going to be Jacopo now that inherits the race lead. Ideally, he'd be on the safety car, I think, at this point. There's 3-second penalties being picked up. I think Will has just picked up one. I think Lewis has picked up the other. So all of those in now. Rudy's out of the pit lane. Cortez has already gone through. Wow. Cortez has already gone through. There's Ferrand, there's Marlon, there's Will. Rudy's miles behind. Rudy is miles behind. He's nearly going to be 3 seconds behind coming in towards turn number 1. Marlon gets the move done on Ferrand, and Ferrand, I think, just let him through there again. So these two having a really good fight, I've got to say. The Aston Martin on the back of McLaren. McLaren's going to lead, obviously. Lewis is into the pit lane and retires from the race, and again, bad luck for Lewis tonight. Has really plagued him, I think, here in F3 since the beginning of the season. Has not looked the same driver as per a couple of months ago, and Lewis retiring out of the race again, which is unfortunate. And to be honest, the writing was on the wall from that 3-wide incident into the Pelotard. Writing was on the wall there. And I understand his reason and why around he probably retired, but it's only 13 drivers. The potential for points is second to none, because drivers could easily DNF out of the race, so we could have continued on. Leon saying, let's go Moron, come on, and Ronnie Boy in the comment section. Don't know who Ronnie is, but let me know who that is, Peter, in the comment section. The couple leads the way, Cortez in second, Moron in third. Will Murdoch and Rudy have not gained any time at all. Will Murdoch more especially on the back of these two, Marlon and Ferrans, who are now going to get battling once again, and this should be an easy move for Ferrans. Marlon, gentleman's agreement, I think, is the best way I could describe it now between them both. Nuth, however, on the back of Rudy, is looking like a more intense battle. 6th and 7th position, Nuth there on the back of Rudy. German on the back of the Dutchman. Dutchman doesn't have any EOS here, or DRS I should say here, and Nuth I think is not going to be enticed to go for the battle and go for the move, and I think at this point in the race, fair play to him, I'd be exactly the same at this point. Nuth winning behind Rudy, getting dragged along, and that's exactly what he wants. 6th and 7th position for now. Jacopo leading the way. SK saying Marlon is great, but is he that great now? He's just picked up a 3-second penalty. Ultimate commentator's curse there, or ultimate comment curse there from SK, unfortunately. Have to give the award to you, my friend. Zenvious as well in the comment section saying Rudy running low wings is coming back to bite him. Yeah, totally agree. Nuth on the back of Rudy. Will Murdoch arguably looks quicker than Marlon and Ferrans, but he's not getting any closer himself. So I wonder if Rudy and Will possibly got a similar or the same setup on. Nuth is probably going to look to Rudy. Joey, though, has crashed coming through the S section. That's through turn number 12. And Nuth now is going to get the move done on Rudy. Perhaps before the safety car gets deployed. Nuth and he's into P6. Gets the job done. Can't run on board with what happened with Joey, because there's nobody coming through that part of the track. But it looks like he's probably got caught on the right-hand curb through turn number 11. Car has been cleared up immediately. The absolute tragedy that is the game. We could have had a safety car there, but we haven't. We haven't got a safety car, unfortunately, and I know Jacopo would have been expecting a safety car there. If he got that safety car, he would have potentially been in, well, he still would have been around 8th or 9th position, but he would have been on the set of softs and he probably would have got to the end of the race as well. Will and Nuth have just picked up 3-second penalties as well. Theronix as well saying nice commentating. Thank you very much. I'm getting a lot of good comments tonight about the commentary. I'm really glad you're liking it. Not the Scotsman that's normally alongside me shouting, oh, there's a ballistic missile coming down the inside. Don't want that. Certainly not tonight. Marlon, oh, big snap of oversteer. Coming out of the final corner. Ferrans, weaving. Probably saying, are you coming through? They've gained time on Will Murdoch, though. They've gained 3/4 tenths per second on Will, and this is going to be the gentleman's agreement round 3. Marlon, Ferrans, and just let him through. Marlon Tooney's into 3rd. Quite funny watching this, to be honest. Marlon and Ferrans having a bit of a gentleman's agreement. They should be racing out on track. They shouldn't be having a top hat and tails event. Best way I could describe it at this point. Nuth on the back of Will Murdoch as well. He's looking quite quick. Joey as well, saying the dive at the final corner was hilarious. Yeah, we saw that on stream, unfortunately, Joey, in the Discord. And Ali is saying as well, Marlon is doing the right thing by backing off so he can get dragged by Ferrans. I think they both want to get dragged by each other, don't you think? Ferrans has lost a bit of time now compared to Marlon. Marlon is now setting his stall out and thinking, you know what, I'm not enticed by this. I want to try and get Cortez ahead of me. If he gets Cortez ahead of him, the potential now, because Ferrans at the minute, not sure how many warnings he's on, I'll probably not check how many warnings he's on either, but Ferrans has got to be very careful. He's getting into that trap where Marlon's getting away from him, and he's got pretty much no man's land between himself and Will Murdoch, because Will hasn't got the pace. He's got a DRS train behind. The best thing that Ferrans could hope for, maybe just back off slightly, go onto the DRS train, and then obviously get dragged along by Will Murdoch, Nuth, who are probably going to be quicker. And now we're going to see potentially two moves here, because Nuth on the back of Will Murdoch. Rudy is going to think about this as well. And now we see some action in towards turn number 1. Nuth right on the back of Rudy right on the back of Nuth. Pulls the extra line through turn 3, and that is absolutely magical. But Will gets the switch back, coming through turn number 3. On the run in towards turn number 4, but Rudy's going to have the DRS. Will's just been eaten up like a crocodile, and Rudy now through and he's into 6th. Will Murdoch in 7th, that's 2 positions of as many corners. Nuth through and he's into 5th. Rudy in 6th. Will Murdoch in 7th. And do you know who helps that helps out more? Not Nuth, not Rudy, Ference. That helps out Ference a lot more. Nuth's now going to be quicker than him. Ference can get dragged along. They can catch Marlon. That'll be the real battle, I think. That's what's probably going to happen. Ali's saying as well, they're close to Cortez, so Cortez is going to have to react. Yeah, he hasn't really reacted though. Cortez is in this point where I don't think he's necessarily got the pace. I don't think he's got the pace. Will, I think, has just picked up another penalty, and he's also spun, coming through turn number 12. That's through the final sector there in the Ferrosul. We go on board with him. Look, he's got the car back going again. Has he picked up any damage? And with one Alpine already out, Will Murdoch does not want to be a second Alpine out of the race, because I think he's got damage. I think he's got an inspector, and he's going to retire the car. If he retires the car here, that's Alpine's chances, and he has retired the car. That's big. Oh, as Rexing nearly goes on the wall, coming through Paraltano as well. But that is huge for the constructors' standings. Both Alpines out. Haas only represented by one driver, that's Rudy. Potentially he's going to get a podium, now that latching onto the back of Ference. And the Alpines are not scoring any points tonight. It's as simple as that. And looking at the standings coming into tonight as well, I'll quickly check and see what the standings were again, just to remind you about the constructors. But that is huge. Both of them now out. Mercedes, Cortez is second. Cortez is second. He's the only Mercedes there. Mercedes is now going to lead. There's a yellow flag for some reason. Oh, and it's Ference on the wall. Ference on the wall. No front wing on the car. Too busy running above with Cortez and trying to catch up with the constructor standings. And Ference is in the wall. Pushed too hard again. The S section catching people out tonight. Becoming like a war of attrition now here in Mexico. So Ference will inevitably come back into the pit lane. That could be him now out of the race. He needs a safety car ideally to get back into this. But why retire when you've got a point coming your way at least? That's what I'd be going through in Ference's mind. He shouldn't retire here. If he does, he's silly. Dutch Missile goes past. Rexing will go past. Ference will get an 8-second pit stop. Set us off compound going on. And fair play. Will easily could have done the same. Zenvia said, why did he retire in P9? He still could have gotten a point. Exactly now, I'm going to ask you the same question, Zenvius. Ference has done the right thing here. Came into pit lane, realises the points on at least for him. Aston Martin are not too far off, obviously, in terms of... I think, obviously, Ference is in the Aston Martin tonight. But they're 7th in the standings, and they've only got 4 points to McLaren. 4-point advantage over McLaren, and both McLaren are in the points. So Ference has got to try and pick up the scraps wherever necessary. Jacopo though leads the way. Cortez in 2nd, Marlon in 3rd. Leon sounding like me, I think, saying he should never give up. Yeah, totally agree. Shouldn't have given up. And... oh, Jacopo was in. So Jacopo into pit lane from the race lead. Now we will get the battle between Cortez and Marlon for the race lead. But Jacopo into the pits. Inevitably, this is going to be a set of softs. Do you know where he's going to come out? I think he's going to come out right beside Dutch Missile, coming out the pit lane here. Williams, of course, right down the bottom end of the pit lane. Ference picked up another penalty, and do you know what? Scrap that. Jacopo's miles ahead of Dutch Missile coming out the pit lane. Big for Jacopo now. 2 seconds per lap. He's got to try and gain on those set of softs. Is his work cut out? He's got 10 seconds to Hyper and Ron, who are going to battle, and Hyper's going to get the move done here. Rudy as well, just ahead, is going to get the move done on Nuth. That's then he's into 3rd, and Hyper gets the move done on Ron. Into 5th position he goes. But the big question now is, Jacopo, he's got to close 2 seconds a lap. 2 seconds a lap over 8 laps will bring him 16 seconds. 16 seconds will bring him right onto the back of Cortez and Marlon. But that is only if he gets through the rest of the guys ahead of him. Safety car, I think, ideally would be the best point for Jacopo at this point, because his tyres are going to go off. He's got another 3-second penalty as well. But his tyres are going to go off. And they're going to go off before the end of the race. These mediums might not necessarily go off. So anybody on a set of mediums, probably has the not only advantage out on track compared to Jacopo. Jacopo, I mean, is closing down, steaming onto the back of Ron. 8.5 seconds now the gap, but yeah, be interesting. Nuth on the back of Rudy. Round 2 between these two. Ron as well on the back of Hyper, just in the background of shot. Pulls the inside on the Estonian. Lovely move there by Ron. Through into 5th. Probably one of the cleanest races I think we've had all season as well. No matter how many drivers we have, I always go about, in any commentary that I do, wherever there is a limited attendance, Rexleg's into pit lane possibly going for the fastest lap as well. But, yeah, with only 10 drivers in, there's no point. Oh, Ron has a huge slap of oversteer. Out of turn number 6, he's very lucky to keep that car in a straight line there. The Estonian did well to keep that car in a straight line. No, if I was in his shoes, I'd probably have spun that and went into the wall and probably caused a safety car. Ron there in 5th, Hyper there in 6th. Marlon, Slizer coming in there saying, come on Marlon, he's only 5 tenths off him. 5 tenths off the back of Cortez. But if you, I'll ask this now to the comment section, if you were Marlon now, what would you do? Would you wait him behind and expect that Cortez's tyres are going to go off? Or would you go for the race lead and then try and pull away? If I was Marlon, I'd be sticking him behind, making my move final couple of laps of the race. All depends, though, on those tyres. All depends on those mediums. Rudy's going to get the move done on Nuth. He comes steaming down the inside line into turn number 1. And Rudy, literally like he was shot out of a cannon there. He's into 3rd. Nuth there in 4th. Hyper in 5th, Ron in 6th. Zenvia saying it's impossible to pull away in Mexico. Yeah, totally agree. That's why I would stay behind Cortez. And Cortez obviously can't get away. But you've also got to think about Rudy and Nuth. They're battling at this stage, 3rd and 4th. What would you do if they got onto your rear end? Or, what would you do if they got onto your rear end? Rudy and Nuth, 3rd and 4th, they're going to be quick. Are they going to be as quick though as Cortez and Marlon? Probably so. Probably so. Ali's saying, Marlon, he'd like to save his ERS and make the move until the last lap. Yeah, I think it makes sense for Marlon. He's got nothing really to lose. I mean, looking at the penalties, I'll get the penalties up for example. 3 seconds worth of penalties. Nuth and Hyper potentially could be on the podium as well. But they've all got 3-second penalties. Marlon, ideally, he's got to be 3 seconds ahead of Ron. And that is him in the podiums. Possibly for 3rd. So we'll have to wait and see. Lucas said he would try and overtake because of his penalty. Yeah, totally agree. Might see it now, actually. Marlon to the inside on Cortez. Lucas, you're an absolute genius. Marlon doing his into the race lead. Clearly, Jeff is in the comment section there from Lucas's perspective. Marlon, though, going to come under pressure again from Cortez, but look at the speed he pulls away. This now lands him in a better position compared to what he would have been behind Cortez, arguably. But it all depends on this battle behind him. Rudy and Nuth, if they now set their stall out, one driver is quicker than the other. They look quite even though at this point, but if one driver was quicker than the other, I'd let the quicker driver ahead try and close them down. Cortez's tyres are looking short, and he's just picked up a 3-second penalty as well. Even better news for Marlon. He's only expecting Rudy to pick up a 3-second penalty. He could be on for the race win here. Marlon leads the way. Cortez in 2nd. Rudy in 3rd, Nuth in 4th, Hyper in 5th. Lucas is a goal indefinitely, indeed, because of that comment. That was perfectly timed, by the way, in terms of that. It couldn't get any better in terms of the timing. But Marlon leads the way. Cortez in 2nd. Marlon's not gonna... Well, he's gonna hold the race lead here, down towards turn number 1, I would think, unless Cortez steams on the back of the McLaren. Marlon and the McLaren, that makes sense. Nuth on the back of Rudy, though. Once again, they're pulled to the inside on. They're losing time, though. They cannot afford to battle. If they want the race win, if I was Rudy, I'd be affording not to battle and just say, you know what, this is not working for me. I've got to do something about it, and I've got to quicken myself up in terms of pace. That's what Rudy's got to do at this point. Potentially, this could come down to the luck of the draw and in terms of strategy, who will win this race here in Mexico. Fusion saying as well that we could be lucky that Lucas isn't driving. You and me both, Lucas, if you're seeing that. You and me both. Marlon still leads the way. Cortez in 2nd, Nuth in 3rd. The Marlon fans might be getting quite giddy about themselves at this point. But Jacopo, by the way, in terms of his progress, just to come on to him, he's only 2.5 seconds behind Ron and Typer. But the big problem is his tyres are now beginning to go off. He won't realise that, but his tyres are beginning to go off. And Jacopo has got to think about Hyper and Ron. How quick is he still? He's looking very quick, I've got to say. He's closed around 2 seconds a lap, as I say. Exactly what he wanted to do. Jacopo could be the one to watch out for. Have to wait and see. This is going to build quite nicely, I think, to the end of the race. Cortez on the back of Marlon. Has to try and think about going for this move here. To the outside line. Marlon's not enticed about it at all, and Cortez is through. Portuguese man back through, and he's into the race lead. Marlon now on the back of him. Coming through turns 2 and 3. Remember, it's the same DRS detection point. Marlon now letting him through. Look at Nuth. Look at Nuth. And where's Rudy? Dutch Missile in straight lane, probably going for fastest lap. But look at Nuth and Rudy. 1.1 seconds off. If I'm looking back on that with hindsight, I think Marlon's done the wrong thing there. I think he's done the wrong thing, because Nuth is going to use up every single amount of that ERS that he's got to try and close in to within a second. And that's exactly what it's going to be coming to the S section if he's quicker. And he is. And he's got DRS as well to prove it. And also Jacopo's picked him another 3-second penalty. Flying too quick, I think, Jacopo. But he is now on the back of Hyper and Ron. He's got a second and a half. Marlon very wide, coming out of turn 12. And that now gives Nuth and Rudy the chance. Rudy now is in a much more promising position compared to 2 laps ago. Building nicely this race. 9 laps to go. Cortez leads the way. Portuguese man out in front. Marlon there in second. Nuth in third. Rudy in fourth. Ferrens, 3-second penalty. In terms of the penalties, there are them. Cortez, Marlon, Nuth, Hyper, all 3 seconds. Jacopo and Ferrens have got 18 seconds worth of penalties. Jacopo more for corner cut than anything else. Not sure why Ferrens has got 18 seconds. Ron on the back of Hyper. Not quite close enough in towards turn number 1. But Cortez now leading the way. But Ali saying as well, if Nuth and Rudy keep bashing, their tyres are going to die. But the front 2 will pull away. Not necessarily, to be honest. I think Cortez, it almost looks like Cortez has gone too hard too early. I'll be brutally honest saying, because we'll run about with him now. Although his tyres are not looking blistering, look at his front left. The front left is the one that takes the hit load around here in terms of the tyres. Backing off the throttle doesn't help either coming through the S section. But looking above with Cortez, that very thin line running through the centre of the tyre, that's blistering on the car. Cortez is there. Jacopo, by the way, on the exit of turn number 11, gets to move on and Ron. So he's turning into 6. Jacopo now beginning to battle and battle hard. But has his tyres got enough life to get him onto the front 4? The front 4 can just sit back and relax, I think. And Jacopo will be on the back of him in no time. Jacopo was the big threat to the guys ahead. I know he's got 18 seconds worth of penalties, but if he didn't, he would be a big threat. Huge threat to these front 4. I think he still is, to be honest. Jacopo now pulls the inside line on Hyper. To the inside line. Oh, lovely move. Down the inside line. Much later on the brakes. Gets the job done. Hyper not enticed by that at all. Soon he's into 5th. Hyper there 6th. Ron in 7th. Pedro Silva in the comments section. Plenty of Portuguese support there. I'm sure that's for Cortez in the comments section there. Cortez leads the way. Still for Marlon. Marlon saving ERS. Yeah, he's got 30% more at this point. Nuth, Rudy. Yeah, Marlon's doing a good job in terms of ERS. But ERS is only one thing. He's got to think about 3 different things at this point. 1, catching Cortez. 2, managing his tyres. 3, managing his ERS. Managing his ERS he's doing. Catching Cortez he's not doing. Managing his tyres, jury's out on that one. Blistering occurring on the front left, so maybe Marlon's beginning to struggle on those tyres. Have to wait and see. There is a yellow flag, and that is for Dutch Missile. Coming through turn number 2, from the opposite side of the track compared to where we are now. Jacopo, by the way, is only 2.3 seconds off Rudy. Still got a big chance, Jacopo. Rudy, though, on the back of Nuth. We're going to see Rem 4 between these guys. Dutch Missile's round into safety car! Safety car! What for? What have we got the safety car for? I'm speechless. What have we got the safety car for? There's no damage on Dutch Missile's car. Everyone's missed the pit lane. Mate, I'm speechless. I'm absolutely speechless. We've got a safety car for absolutely no reason at all. Very strange. Safety car deployed. 7 laps to go. I think everyone's just got to pit in for a set of soft compound tyres, including Jacopo. Nothing to lose. Ferrens, Rexnig, Dutch Missile. The top 7 can pit in, and they're going to still be miles clear compared to the guys who've just pitted. Everyone's surely got to pit in. Set of soft compound tyres. Pretty much a 4-lap sprint to the end of the race. Ferrens, Rexnig, Dutch Missile are involved. Race is now completely blown open. Cortez leads the way. Ghost King saying he stopped on track. Yeah, he stopped on track. But he did make a mistake coming through turn number 3, so that's why I think he obviously made. But surely everyone has got to pit in. Set us off. It'd be stupid if they don't. Cortez is in. Marlon's in. Nuth in. Rudy in. Jacopo in. Hyper in. Ron in. All into the pit lane. All into the pit lane. Nothing to lose. Apart from many pit stops. Oh, and Jacopo's retired in the pit lane. Jacopo was retired in the pit lane. What on earth? It gets weirder by the second. Jacopo has retired into the pit lane, and he's left the session. I can't believe it. Jacopo. I can't believe it. I'm speechless. I've never been speechless in my commentary career before, but this is the moment where I am. Cortez leads the way. Jacopo went for the pit lane. I don't know what he's done there. I think it's more for penalty's sake. Because, although it shows a DNF, I think he had about 30 seconds worth of penalties. So not the wonder he's actually retired in the pit lane. Weird one. Really weird one. Cortez leads the way. Marlon in second, Nuth in third. Ali saying as well in the comment section there, this is going to be a challenge because nobody has DRS for 3 laps. Yes. And if the safety car comes in, there's Jacopo's AI, by the way, on the left-hand side of the track. Dutch Missile's into the pit lane. Fresh set of softs going on for him. Ferrens, Rexnig, Dutch Missile. Safety car waits out for another 3 laps. We potentially could only get DRS final lap of the race. I think, though, the safety car will come in next lap around. Ferrens and Rexnig will catch back up. I'm not sure on Dutch Missile, though. I'm not sure if he'll catch back up in time. Have to wait and see. Yeah, Leon saying maybe too many penalties, but 1 point is better than none. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, to be honest, Ferrens had the same amount of penalties as him, and he wouldn't have been last, because he would have been ahead of Ferrens out of the pit lane. So he would have got 2 points, not 1 point. Weird. Slides are saying Rudy needs a penalty than Marlon will. Yeah, totally agree. Rudy, check actually, because we've got a little bit of a break in the session, I will check the race director for the top 7. Or in fact, I'll check them for everyone, why not? Cortez has got a penalty and a warning. So he's 2 away, I think, from another penalty. Marlon has got a penalty and 2 warnings, so he's nearly on borderline another 3 seconds. Nuth has got a penalty and 1 warning. So he's 2 warnings away from another penalty. Rudy has got 1 warning. So he needs 2 warnings to pick up a 3-second penalty. So that'll answer your question in the comment section. Hyper has got an invalidated lap time, weirdly. 2 penalties for Hyper. Ron has got a warning. Fair play to Ron. Only a warning for Ron. Well done. Ferrens has got... I mean, look at that. You can just see for yourself. Invalidated lap times as well. So many warnings, so many penalties, I can't even keep up. Rexnig has got plenty of invalidated lap times and a penalty and a warning. And that might actually get taken off because he's got 3 invalidated lap times but no warnings before that. So Rexnig might look into getting that removed. Penalty as well for Dutch Missile and a warning. And Jacopo obviously is out of the race. So that's the race director there. Safety car, I think might be coming in. No, safety car lights are still on. So waiting out for Dutch Missile still. Dutch Missile not going to catch in time. So I think the safety car is going to be out for another lap. So that means we are going to get 3 laps worth of racing. 1 lap of which is going to be 1 lap of which is going to be DRS. And that's the final lap of the race. Safety car round for the final time. Underneath the safety car this is. Cortez leading the way. Marlon in second. Nutha in third. Hopefully that was a really good insight, by the way. I never normally do that, but with the safety car being out so late in the race, thought I'd give you a proper rundown in terms of the penalties. Hopefully I didn't scroll too quick. Penalties, of course, I'll keep up as we go along as well. But Cortez leads the way, Marlon second. Everyone's now under the safety car. This benefits two drivers, Ron, Rudy. No penalties. They stay within 3 seconds of the lead. They're possibly going to get first and second. Possibly going to get first and second. This will work out to their absolute play. Slipstream and EOS will be really useful for the final 3 laps. Yeah, it will. DRS, though, is only going to come online final lap of the race. Think of this as a sprint race now. Everyone is now going to put their careers on the line just to get P1 out on track. But they've got to do it, of course, in a clean and fair manner. We don't want any dirty driving. We want this to be 3 laps right to the end of the race, where it absolutely blows your mind in the comment section, blows my mind, and blows your mind, of course, as the viewers. This is it. This is it. No going back now. 3 laps worth of pure Formula 1 racing right to the checkered flag, and you are in the best seats in the house. Cortez, as the safety car will come in this lap, is now the virtual Bergmalander. He's now the virtual safety car, and the Portuguese man is going to back the pack up to his heart's desire. Marlon there in second, Newt there in third. And Ali saying as well in the comment section, if I was Cortez, I'd let Marlon through and sit behind for a bit and then attack because Marlon won't have any slipstream. What do you prioritise though? Slipstream or DRS? DRS will be final lap of the race. That's where the majority of moves are going to be made, I think. Cortez backing up the pack in towards Peraltada. On board with Marlon. Getting this restart back underway. Cortez now says go through Peraltada, and Marlon's right on the back of him. Has a big slide out the final corner, but he's right on the back of him. And this now, 3 laps worth of racing right to the checkered flag. Cortez leads the way. Marlon in second, and already Cortez is trying to break the toll desperately. Here comes the German though, to the inside line. Cortez is going to have to give him the room to the inside. Marlon, shoddy camera angle, should dive it down the inside line. Cortez is still there though, the Portuguese man hanging on for grim life. Marlon on the inside line through turn 3. Nuther's not too far off this either. Nuther's got into this fight. Marlon and Cortez there, side by side, literally wing mirrors apart, on the run down and towards turn number 4. Marlon's got the outside line, he's just about got the lead, and he gets the lead. Brilliant move by Marlon, through into the lead of the race. Rexnake fighting with Dutch Missile quite aggressively in the background there, but Marlon leads the way. Cortez in second, Nuth in third, and if that's what you wanted under a safety car restart, you got it. Marlon through and he's into the lead. Cortez now in second, Nuth in third, but Rudy still has not got a penalty. Ron has still not got a penalty. These guys are going to be watched out for. Cortez is all over the shop, coming through turn number 12, or turn number 11, in towards turn number 12 now, into the Ferrasol, for the 3rd last time out on track. Marlon leads the way. Cortez in second, Nuth in third. And Ali saying as well, Marlon, his tyres might be too cold. Hyper and Ferrance are going at it, coming through the Ferrasol. The Aston Martin pulls the outside line. Ridiculous by Ferrance if he can pull this one off. Hyper's got the inside line though, and they're now going to be wing mirrors apart, running down in towards turn number 1, trying to break the toe again. Remember, they've got no DRS until the final lap of the race. Marlon leads the way. Cortez in second. Hyper now pulls alongside Ferrance. Should get the move done in towards turn number 1. Wing mirrors apart, on the run down. Should get the move done. Ferrance is still there on the inside line, and he should have backed off that. Simple as that. Hyper now through and he's into 5th. Ferrance into 6th. Battled too hard, and that's what you get for battling too hard. You get the door slammed right shut in your face. Marlon leads the way. Cortez in second. Nuth there in third. Rudy in 4th. In terms of the penalties, and then actually I'll bring the leader gap up. It's 1.3 seconds between Marlon and Rudy. If that goes beyond 3 seconds, Marlon's won this race. Simple as that. This is going to be intense. Final lap of the race, DRS is going to be enabled, and Marlon is now going to fight off Cortez. Cortez, the Portuguese man, is in with a really good shot of possibly winning this race, or at least getting a podium. Ron on the back of Ferrance. Oh, and Ferrance has spun, I think, coming out of turn number 12. He's got front wing damage, has he? I think he has. He's slowing up the car, and Ferrance has got a problem. Ferrance has got a problem. Round the final corner, he's into neutral. I think his gears have gone. I think his either wheels gone, gears have gone. I don't know what happened there with Ferrance. Final lap of the race now begins. DRS now enabled for the final lap sprint. Cortez now is going to sprint onto the back of the German ahead of him. The Portuguese man is going to come steaming at Marlon. He hasn't got enough ERS though to try and pull off this move, and Marlon will hold the lead of the race. Dutch Missile, however, on the back of Rexnake will. He's on the outside line and towards turn number 1. This is for 7th and 8th. And Rexnick holds on to the 7th position for now. Cortez, though, having a big fight back on Marlon. He just hasn't got the ERS. He's derating down the straight, and Marlon's going to lead the way through into the final sector. Ferrance, not sure what happened with Ferrance at all there. Either controller disconnected, I don't know what happened. We'll get something at the end of the race, I'm sure. But Marlon, possibly. Look at the gap. 1.7 seconds. It's not enough. But the gap to Ron, 3 seconds. This is going to be close for Marlon, if he's going to get second or not. Cortez is so much quicker, though, coming through the S section once again. Now into the Ferrasol for the final time. It looks like it's going to be Marlon's race out on track, but do not rule out the Portuguese man. He's steaming on the back of the German into the Ferrasol. Doesn't risk for the move. He realises that second could be coming his way. Marlon around the final corner. Ferrance have been disqualified. Marlon around the final corner. He's going to take the win out on track, but unfortunately he's not going to take the overall race win, because that goes to Rudy. Rudy wins the race. Marlon in the end is second, and Ron in the end in third. Will bring you through the full grid order very soon. But it's Rudy that gets the race win in F3. What a thriller. What an absolute thriller. Ron gets Driver of the Day awarded by the in-game fans, i.e. Casper Ackerman there in the Driver of the Day vote. But to the top step of the podium, for the 3rd time in 3 weeks, Rudy is your race winner. This time, he had to fight for it. On penalties, that's all it got decided on. Rudy, otherwise, would have been out of the podiums. Simple as that. He finished 4th across the line, but Rudy takes the race win here in PSGL F3. Marlon, though, gets second. Probably going to get Driver of the Day as well from me. Drove a solid race. And think about as well, Ron, Estonian driver, up to 3rd from 9th on the grid, gets Driver of the Day awarded by the in-game fans as well. And another one that gets an honourable mention there at the end of the race. What a Mexican Grand Prix that was! Rudy wins for Marlon in 2nd, Ron there in 3rd, Cortez in 4th, Newth in 5th, Hyper there in 6th, Rexnig in 7th, Dutch Missile in 8th, Jacopo in 9th, then Will Murdoch, Joey, Lewis and Ferrance rounding off the finishers. Of course, the top 8 only finished. Ferrance got disqualified because of multiple penalties. Jacopo, Will Murdoch, Joey and Lewis, of course, retiring at the end of the race. Leon saying, what a race and what a commentary by you. Thank you for that. You are very welcome indeed. My voice is absolutely shot. F1, by the way, is currently live. If you do want to tune in for that, Mr. Luke Etheridge and Mr. Aidan Carter are taking to the action. F5, F6, F9, also live as well, if you do want to delve into that. Looking on F1, it looks like it's just ending qualifying, and Matthew Walder has just set the fastest lap in qualifying so far, 13.3 I think it is, from Matthew Walder, no, 13.4, and he's currently quickest in qualifying, and they're literally at the end of qualifying there, so you can tune in for that if needs be. However, my voice is absolutely shot. I really appreciate it if we do not do any interviews tonight. You'll probably be now ousting me in the comments section because I've just said that, but really solid racing out on track. And Logan, if you're watching this back later on, you have missed an absolute cracker of a race. Intense, absolutely intense. Hopefully my commentary came across really well as well, because that was absolutely unbelievable. But as you can tell, probably by my voice right at the end there, nearly went, and I really hope you can forgive me by saying that we're not going to do any interviews tonight. SK saying insane commentary, Endel saying GG, Ali saying commentary, W commentary, W livestream, W race, except to watch you commentate every single week. This is why F3 is probably one of the best divisions for racing. But have a really good evening, everyone. Of course, next week we are going to be back in Singapore, so probably one from the shortest race of the season to the longest race of the season. And I think Otaku Logan, of course, will be back alongside me. As I've already said, F1 there, ending qualifying. I will obviously go and maybe tune into TTML F1. We'll tune into PSGL F1 and then take it from there. May see some of you there as well in the comments section. But really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're new. Thank you very much, everyone, by the way, from PSGL and from all of us here for 15,000 subscribers on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, why not do it now? Literally takes 2 seconds, and it'll be the best 2 seconds of your life because you get to watch more action like this with me and with other commentators, of course, in PSGL. Enzo, I think, saying though what I'm going to say about Singapore. Yeah, Singapore, it's Singapore, but I've had a race where we've gone from dries to full wets. No, dries to inters to full wets, back to inters, back to dries, all in 31 laps. Expectation for next week? Probably that. I will leave it here though. Big thank you to everyone that tuned in. Big thank you to everyone for keeping me company as well in the comment section. And I will see you, of course, next week. Hopefully alongside Otaku Logan next week. But for now, I've been Jem Ted. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, goodbye.